Just from the last Dink podcast. So Zane and Nico were talking about is pickleball and should it be an indoor sport now? And they were talking clearly about the Texas Open last week. Did you catch any of that?
The wind was nuts.
It was crazy. And last year I was actually there, and it was windy then too, like unplayable. But it was like maybe a fragment of like 25% the amount of wind as it was this year. Like
I will not play in Texas.
The wind comes sweeping
nuts.
down the plain there. That particular venue too just has a massive open space to the west, and the wind just
and the setup, the wind just swirls. It's not even a single direction.
Well, all the outer courts, it's just like gale force winds in one direction, but that center court is surrounded by bleachers and stuff, so it is like a whirlwind effect. And yeah, it was just crazy to watch. But what do you think, Eddie? What's your take? Should pickleball now become mostly indoor?
No, I think one of the beautiful things about the sport is dealing with the elements, dealing with wind and sun, and there's a particular athletic aspect to dealing with that. We play football outside, we play baseball outside, and part of the fun of watching those sports is the weather. Yeah. It can make it totally fun, and the wind is kind of interesting, right? Yeah. At a certain point, maybe they need to say above a certain number of miles per hour. We're just not. We're not going to do it.
They do that now. The referee has a windometer.
Yeah.
And anything above 30 miles an hour, which I think is way too high. There's no way you can play in 30 miles an hour. I mean, so I think, to me, I feel like much over 10, I'm hating it, but I could go up to maybe 15. 20 is way too high.
I think for the consistency of training and getting in regular games, having an indoor club is fantastic. You really can't beat it. But I think there's always going to be an outdoor element to pickleball, and that's kind of the joy of the sport.
Yeah. Damn it, I was hoping we'd have opposing opinions here. I wanted to have a point and counterpoint, but I agree. I think it should not become exclusively indoor. Not that we can't play indoors. I think there should be even pro tournaments indoors, and clearly we need indoors here in Colorado and other different climates that suck during the winter to play and train through the winter. But, I mean, first of all, just on a purely aesthetic level, there's nothing that really captures the look of pro pickleball better than an outdoor sunny venue. It doesn't matter how good the lighting is indoors, it just doesn't look as good. Same with tennis, right? All the best tennis venues are, outdoors. Yeah, and another thing is lighting is still pretty bad in most indoor venues, and especially for like vision impaired people, including myself being colorblind. That's an impairment indoors for me. It's really hard for me to map onto the ball. It's oftentimes it hits me right in the chest before I even see it. It's kind of crazy. So the lighting has to be perfect, and it's never quite as good as outdoors, even in the best indoor circumstances. And yeah, like you said, there's the chaos element, which I feel like translates well into the pro game. The last thing we need is like something that's so predictable in the pro roster that's already so predictable. You've got Ben and Annalie always winning, and you've got these. Not that we want it to be too chaotic, but I think introducing a little bit of chaos makes it more fun for the viewers. Maybe not for the players, but for the top players at least. But yeah, I think that's important.
Remember when they were lobbing Lee Waters into the sun? Yes. She lost her mind.
That's so funny.
It's fun.
That's become such a meme. Yeah.
It's absolutely fun. And could you imagine watching tennis indoors all the time?
No, that would be sad.
I mean, it doesn't have the wind impact that the wind has on pickleball, but still.
Yeah, it's not as fun. I think that the answer is clearly have both, but the ideal, if you had to boil down to one venue, what would be the ideal venue? It would be like a hybrid venue with some indoor courts to go to in case it starts raining. Like Worlds at Dallas has that. They have two massive, one massive building in the center of everything. They used to have a few tennis courts. Now it has dozens of pickleball courts. The lighting's terrible in there. They need to fix that. But otherwise, like there's a grandstand court in there, or not a grandstand, but it's a pro court, a couple of them that the pros come and play when it's raining or too windy or something. So that seems to be the ideal situation.
Look at us, John. Lockstep.
Lockstep.
This is why we compare notes.